Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. My brother-in-law's hand lands on my hip while my husband laughs. I am Claire, 30, and in that second everything tilts. I am holding a full plate, half turned toward the grill, pinned by his palm. I freeze hard and somehow my mouth still twists into a smile. He keeps talking to my husband like nothing happened, fingers spread on my hip. "Careful, you're gonna make her drop that," my husband jokes, eyes on the burgers. I try to step forward, his hand tightens for a beat like a test. That quick squeeze hits my nerves faster than the heat from the grill. I slide out of his reach and put the plate down on the table. My laugh comes out thin, stretched, louder than I usually talk. Nobody looks confused, nobody looks shocked, and that almost messes me up more. If it was really bad, they would react right. "You good, Claire?" My brother-in-law grins, leaning on the counter. He bumps my arm with his elbow, like we shared a private joke. "I'm fine," the answer leaves my mouth before I even think it. My voice sounds normal, and I hate that it sounds normal. My husband glances over, eyebrows raised, like I am the one acting weird. "Relax, he's just messing with you." He flips a burger, grin steady. Everyone around us keeps eating and talking, and I feel like the only stiff one. In that moment, I decide not to push it and swallow my nerves. I step back from both of them and head toward the house. "I'm grabbing more napkins," I call out, using the first excuse that lands. My brother-in-law chuckles behind me, low and pleased, like he won something. I pretend I did not hear it and keep walking faster. Inside the kitchen, I set my hands on the counter and breathe. My hip still feels warm where his hand was, like a ghost mark. I stare at the cabinets and try to replay the scene in order. Even now, writing this, I remember how I searched for a reason to blame myself. Back then I told myself it was a dumb joke, nothing more. I told myself I should not make a big deal over one touch. That is how you keep the peace, right? You let small things slide. I did not know yet that small things grow teeth when you ignore them. The back door swings open and my husband steps in, cheeks flushed from heat. "There you are," he kisses my cheek, already reaching for a drink. "You disappeared on me." His tone is light but his eyes check my face. He is waiting to see how much trouble he is in. "Your brother grabbed my hip out there." The words tumble out fast, shaky. I do not dress them up, I do not soften them at all. I watch his reaction like my life depends on it, because later it kind of does. He snorts, shakes his head once, like I told a bad joke. "That, he always does that stuff." He waves one hand and opens the fridge. He is just handsy, you know how he jokes around. My stomach folds on itself because no, I actually do not know that. All I know is my body went rigid and his hand stayed put. It made me uncomfortable, my voice comes out smaller than I want. It felt too familiar. I grip the counter edge to keep my hands steady. He leans back against the cabinet, drink resting loosely in his fingers. "Babe, you're overthinking it." He does not mean anything by it. He laughs again and that sound cuts deeper than the touch itself. "I told him you're kind of serious sometimes, so he likes to tease." That sentence crawls under my skin because suddenly this feels planned. Like he gave his brother a green light, then expected me to laugh along. I should argue harder right there, I see that now so clearly. Instead I nod like maybe he is right, like maybe I imagine the squeeze. When the person you trust most calls you dramatic, you start to shrink. You start editing your own memory while it is still fresh. We walk back outside together, and the conversation snaps around us again. My brother-in-law looks up and smirks, eyes flicking from him to me. "Hey, there she is." He lifts his drink toward me like a toast. My husband grins back at him, and the floor under me feels less solid. "Come here, future grill master." My brother-in-law pats the spot next to him. "Show me you remember how to flip these." He crowds the grill space. I move closer because saying no would turn every head at once. His arm brushes my back as he shifts, just a little too slow. He steps behind me, chest near my shoulder, hand hovering at my side. "Watch it, don't burn yourself," he murmurs, palm grazing my lower back. The contact is brief, but my spine snaps straight like a pulled wire. If anyone looks over, all they will see is a brother helping with food. I laugh again, short and sharp, because silence feels more dangerous here. I flip one burger, then hand him the spatula like it burns. I'm gonna go check the drinks, I say, escape wrapped in casual words. My husband watches the whole thing, smiling like this is a movie he enjoys. Hours blur in that strange half-normal state, talk and small jokes. Nothing huge happens after that first grab, and that almost tricks me. He stays just inside my space, never long enough to call it clear harassment. If you blink, it all looks innocent, and I think that is the point. When people start leaving, he pulls me into a hug by the door. His arm wraps around my waist, lower than a normal goodbye hug. I try to step back, he holds for one extra beat, mouth near my ear. We should hang out without Mr. Serious sometime, he whispers, breath hot. I jerk away with a nervous laugh and glance straight at my husband. He stands a few feet away, hands in his pockets, watching us closely. His mouth curves in this tight, amused smile, like he saw nothing wrong. He claps his brother on the shoulder and cracks another joke about me blushing. That ride home feels heavier than the whole afternoon in the yard. He drives with the radio on low, fingers tapping on the steering wheel. I sit stiff, arms crossed, trying to decide if I will bring it up again. The longer I wait, the more it feels like cowardice, not peacekeeping. I did not like how he touched me today, I finally speak over the music. My voice sounds steady now, even though my chest jumps. I need you to tell him that is not okay with me. There is a long pause before he reaches for the volume knob and lowers it. You are really still on that? His jaw works and his eyes stay on the road. You are making it weird, Claire, it was nothing. The way he says my name stings more than I want to admit. He sounds tired, like I am a chore, not a partner asking for help. I am not making it up, my hands twist together in my lap, nails digging. It is my body, I get to say when it feels wrong. He exhales, long and annoyed, like I am testing his patience on purpose. Sometimes I think you kind of like the attention, honestly. That sentence hits like a slap, even though he never raises a hand. I stare out the window, cheeks burning, suddenly ashamed of my own discomfort. I start wondering if my reaction looked like flirting from the outside. It is wild how fast you can turn against yourself when someone you love nudges you. By the time we pull into the driveway, the argument has already died. Not because we solved anything, but because I ran out of words. He turns off the engine and leans back, eyes closed for a second. Can we please not fight about this all night, he mutters. Inside, he tosses his keys on the counter and heads straight for the shower. I move on autopilot, loading dishes, wiping surfaces, trying to scrub off the day. My hip still remembers that first grip, even though my brain keeps asking questions. I go through the motions and tell myself there is nothing to see here. In bed, he scrolls his phone with his back half turned toward me. I lie on my side, staring at the wall, replaying the hand and the smirk. Are you mad at me? I ask, hating how small I sound. I am tired, Claire, please just drop it. The mattress shifts as he turns away. I stay awake long after his breathing evens out beside me. In the dark, I press my hand to my own hip, like I can erase the memory. Every time I almost drift off, I see his brother's fingers spreading on my skin. If this was the first line of a horror story, this is where I should have walked. Back then I tell myself it was a one-time thing, a bad joke. Now writing this, I know that day was not an accident at all. It was a test to see how much they could laugh off together. I wish I had taken that first grab seriously before he took anything else. His fingers slide onto my leg under the table. One second I am reaching for bread, the next I feel skin on skin. He hooks just above my knee, firm enough that I cannot call it accidental. Conversation keeps flowing around us and my brain just stalls there. I drag my leg back slow, trying not to jerk like I touched a live wire. His hand moves with me, following, like we are connected by a hidden string. My pulse jumps into my throat, but my face stays stuck in a polite smile. I stare at my plate and pretend I did not feel what I just felt. Everything good down there? My husband cracks a joke at the other end. The timing is awful because I flinch like I got caught doing something. My chair scrapes the floor and a couple of heads turn toward me. I mumble something about stretching my foot and force my shoulders to drop. Next to me, his brother leans back, napkin at his mouth, eyes on mine. "Don't worry, I've got you," he murmurs just loud enough for me to hear. His hand squeezes once on my leg, a tiny pulse of pressure, then relaxes. I almost knock over my glass, pulling away, which only makes me look jumpy. "Whoa, easy there," my husband laughs and reaches to steady the glass. He thinks I am clumsy, not cornered, and somehow that hurts more. I feel like I am watching myself from above, smiling too wide. It is like my face refuses to match what my chest is doing. I sit with my legs crossed GHT ankles locked, a weak little barrier. Every time his knee nudges mine, my stomach twists and my back stiffens. He keeps chatting with his parents like he is not mapping my reactions. I can hear my own heartbeat over the dull hum of forks and voices. I tell myself I am not going to move again, that I will hold my ground. Then his thumb starts to trace a line on the inside of my leg. The motion is slow, tiny, but the message is not subtle at all. My spine turns to ice, and I yank my leg away so fast the table shakes. A fork clinks against a plate, someone laughs at a joke I did not catch. "Everything okay?" My mother-in-law glances at me with polite concern. "I think I cramped my calf." I rub my leg, eyes on the floor. The lie tastes bitter, but it is easier than the truth right then. Beside me, he breathes a quiet chuckle, almost fond. "Should have stretched before dinner," he mutters, elbow brushing my arm. He acts like we are sharing a little secret, and I want to crawl out of my skin. I feel my face heat, and that only feeds whatever game he is playing. "Do you want to switch seats?" My husband gestures toward an empty chair. For a second hope flares, then I see the look in his eyes. It is that warning look, the one that says do not make this into something. "I'm fine here," I answer, voice too tight, jaw clenched. The rest of the meal drags like wet concrete on my nerves. I count down bites, minutes, anything just to get through it. He keeps his hands in his lap now, but his knee stays pressed to mine. It is almost worse because it looks harmless from above. When dessert comes out, I push my plate away and stand up quickly. "I'll help with coffee," I announce, already moving, not waiting for approval. The chair legs scrape loud, a small, ugly sound. I do not care, I just need to be somewhere his legs are not touching mine. In the kitchen, I grip the edge of the counter until my fingers ache. My breathing comes out fast, choppy, like I ran up 10 flights of stairs. I feel ridiculous for reacting this hard to something that technically stayed under fabric. That little voice in my head whispers that maybe this really is not that bad. He strolls in behind me, carrying a couple of empty plates. "Hey, you okay?" he asks, setting them down with a soft clatter. I move to the other side of the island, keeping wood between us. "Just needed to stretch for real," I answer, forcing a laugh that sounds fake. He watches me for a few seconds, eyes flicking down my body. "You look great tonight," he says, leaning his hips against the cabinet. "You always act like you don't know that." His smile is slow, practiced. The compliment lands wrong, heavy, because of where his hand just was. "Don't talk like that," my voice comes out sharper than I planned. His eyebrows lift a little, like I just made things more interesting. "Relax, I'm just playing," he says as he reaches for the coffee filters. "I told my brother he should appreciate you more." That line punches through whatever haze I was in. He talked about me to my husband in that tone, with that attitude. I picture them trading remarks while I moved around the house, trusting them. I suddenly cannot tell which part of this evening started as a joke. My husband walks in, wiping his hands on a towel, humming. He steps close to his brother, not me, picking up a mug. "You two hiding out in here?" he asks, half amused, half suspicious. My body tenses, waiting to see which way this scene tilts. "Just telling her she looks amazing," his brother answers, grin wide. He bumps my shoulder lightly, like we are buddies. My husband gives me a look, that tiny smirk that says he agrees. My pulse stutters because there is no shock, only easy acceptance. I push past them with a tray to take cups back to the dining room. Their voices follow me down the hall, low and full of private humor. I cannot catch the words, but I hear my own name and more laughter. Every step back toward that table feels like walking into a trap I cannot prove. When everyone drifts toward the living room, I end up on the couch again. He drops down beside me, too close, knee almost on my thigh. My husband settles into a recliner across from us, eyes half on the game, half on us. The setup feels deliberate, but I still tell myself I might be imagining things. His brother drapes an arm along the back of the couch, behind my shoulders. Not quite touching, but close enough that I can feel the warmth. Comfortable, he murmurs, shifting so his fingers dangle just above my shoulder. I keep my hands clasped in my lap so I do not shove him away in front of everyone. At one point, a joke lands in the room and people burst out laughing. In that noise, his fingers dip, brushing the top of my arm. I jerk just a little, then force a smile when my husband glances over. He chuckles like we are all in on the same punchline. I wait for a break and he lull, then stand up. With a stretched smile. I should start packing up leftovers, I announce, already backing away. This time nobody questions it, they are too busy with the game. I step into the hallway and finally let my face fall. While I stack containers in the kitchen, my husband joins me. He reaches past me for foil, body brushing mine in a normal, familiar way. "You're being stiff again," he mutters, not looking directly at me. "If you act weird, he'll notice, and that just makes it worse." I stop what I am doing and turn fully toward him. He put his hand on my leg under the table, I say quietly. The words feel heavy, like they might crack the room in half. I watch his reaction, praying this time will be different. He exhales through his nose and leans against the counter, arms folded. "That's how he jokes, he does it to everyone," he claims, eyes rolling. "He wasn't grabbing you in front of the kids or anything." The way he grades the behavior makes my stomach twist. "It doesn't matter who else he does it to," I push back, voice shaking. "He knows I didn't like what happened last time and he did more." The second the sentence is out, I realize I just admitted I kept quiet. My husband latches onto that gap like a lawyer. "If it bothered you so much then why did you sit next to him?" he asks. I blink, thrown by the sudden turn because seats were already taken. "I just sat where they pointed," I answer, frustration burning behind my eyes. It feels like every move I make becomes ammo against me. He lifts his hands, a sign that he is done with the topic. "You're reading into every little thing," he mutters, grabbing the foil. "You should take it as a compliment he thinks you're attractive." That line knocks the air out of me more than any touch tonight. I stare at him, searching for the man I thought I married. "Being complimented does not mean I have to accept his hands," I say. He shrugs, already turning back to the food like I am background noise. "We're family, stop treating him like some creep from a bar." That is the moment something shifts in me, even if I do not name it. I realize I am outnumbered in my own marriage and it stings. A tiny seed of anger plants itself under the fear, quiet but alive. I do not act on it yet, but I feel it settle there and wait. The night finally wraps up, goodbyes thrown around the doorway. His brother hugs me again, arms a little too snug around my waist. I keep my hands high on his shoulders, body stiff, forcing distance where I can. "Always good seeing you," he murmurs near my ear, breath warm. On the drive home, my husband scrolls through music at a red light. "I wish you would just relax around him," he says, eyes on the screen. "You make it awkward when you pull away like that." I bite down on my tongue hard enough to taste metal. I want to scream that the awkwardness is his brother's fault, not mine. Instead, I stare out the window and let the silence pour in. He hums along to some song, perfectly calm, like nothing is wrong. Inside me, everything is tight, buzzing, one long-held note. Back at our place, he heads for the shower, whistling under his breath. I drop my bag on the bed and notice my phone light up. New message, his brother's name bright on the screen, waiting. My throat goes dry before I even open it. The text is short. "Had fun tonight." That stupid little emoji feels like a hand all over again. It says I noticed your reactions and I plan to push them. I stare at the message until my eyes sting. Every part of me wants to block his number and be done. Another part hears my husband's voice, accusing me of making drama. I am caught between protecting myself and keeping the fragile peace. In the end, I do nothing, which now feels like the worst choice. I lock my screen, slip the phone face down on the nightstand, heart pounding. I tell myself I will handle it later, that maybe he will drop it. I do not know yet that this silence is exactly what he is counting on. I type the message with my thumbs shaking. Do not touch me again, that includes jokes. I stare at the blue bubble and think about deleting it. Instead, I hit send and watch the little bar crawl across the screen. The read receipt pops up almost immediately and my stomach flips. For a second nothing follows and I hope he feels ashamed. Then his reply arrives in two quick bursts that make my chest tighten. Wow, someone's tense tonight. Then, your husband said you're dramatic, but I didn't think this much. I read that line 3 times like maybe I misunderstood. The mention of my husband sits there like a punch in the ribs. I picture them laughing about me over beers while I washed dishes. I can almost hear my own name tossed around as a personality flaw. Another message appears before I answer and my jaw locks. Relax, I was just being friendly, he doesn't care. That sentence does something ugly in my head because I know it is true. My husband did not care, and now his brother is using that like a permission slip. I start a reply, erase it, then force myself to try again. If you keep crossing the line, I will stop coming over. I hesitate, then add more because I want no wiggle room at all. You made me extremely uncomfortable, and I am not playing along. He takes longer this time, and I pace across the bedroom. I can hear the television in the living room and my husband laughing. He is relaxed out there while my whole body is buzzing here. The contrast makes me feel stupid for still trying to get help from him. My phone buzzes and I snatch it up too fast. You weren't uncomfortable when you sat next to me at dinner. Another message lands right after and my grip tightens on the phone. You didn't move until the end, I noticed those things. That line makes my skin crawl because it sounds careful and observant. Not playful, not clueless, just calculated and proud of it. I think about the weight of his hand under the table, steady and sure. He was not testing by accident, he was studying what he could get away with. I drop onto the edge of the bed and force my breathing slower. I tried to stay polite so it wouldn't turn into a scene. I send that and immediately hate how defensive it sounds. I feel like I am on trial in a conversation I should not be having. His answer arrives like he was waiting for that exact opening. You're cute when you're nervous, it's not that deep. Then another message stings even more than the first one did. If it bothered you so much you would have told me there. Something snaps in me that does not snap all at once. It is smaller than a scream, quieter than a fight, but solid. I realize he is not confused, he is rewriting my reactions for me. And worse, he is counting on my husband to back that version up. My thumb hovers over the keyboard, and then I choose final words. Do not message me like this again, I am serious. I press send and this time I do not watch his reply. I hit the side button and let the screen go dark in my hand. I sit there for a beat, then open the messages again anyway. The thread glows up at me, full of smug little lines. All of it is sand, it can blow away if I ever delete it. For the first time, I do not want it gone. I press and hold on the first ugly text until options appear. Then I tap on the screenshot button and capture the whole screen. The phone makes that tiny shutter sound, and it calms me a little. Evidence, that is the word that flashes through my head like a warning sign. I scroll up and grab more images, slowly and methodically. Every comment where he brings my husband into it goes into the roll. Every message where he flips my discomfort into a tease gets frozen. I do not know exactly why yet, I just know I want proof. I open the photo gallery and create a hidden album with a bland name. I slide each screenshot into it one after another, thumb pressing hard. It feels sneaky, almost disloyal, but also like the only thing I control. One day I will be glad I did this and I can feel that truth forming. From the hallway I hear the game volume rise again. My husband is talking to someone on voice chat and sounds carefree. It annoys me how normal he sounds with everything churning inside me. I realize avoiding him will not help and I stand up anyway. He looks over when I walk into the living room and smirks. You done sulking? He asks, leaning back with his arm over the couch. The word lands like a slap because I have not said a single word yet. Pause that, I tell him, pointing at the controller on the table. He groans but reaches forward and hits the button. What now? He mutters, rubbing his forehead with 2 fingers. I stay standing because sitting next to him suddenly feels wrong. I texted your brother and told him to quit touching me. That gets his attention, his head jerks a little. You what? He asks, eyebrows pushed together. I hold out my phone so he can read it himself. If I try to recap it, he will claim I am spinning it. He takes the phone and starts scrolling through the thread. His face does not go shocked or angry, it goes annoyed. His mouth pulls to one side like he is ready to scold a child. He huffs a quick laugh at one of his brother's lines and my stomach flips. He's messing around, he says finally, handing the phone back. You're taking every word like a contract or something. The way he tosses the phone onto the cushion between us stings. Like the whole conversation is a bad meme, not my safety line. He keeps mentioning you, I point out, voice tight but steady. He literally said you told him I'm dramatic right there. I jab the screen where that message sits, black on white. You gave him that label and now he hides behind it. My husband tilts his head like he is trying to remember. I joke that you overthink stuff because you do, he answers. It's not a crime, he knows you're high-strung, so. He teases. High-strung, that new phrase burns just as deep as the others. So you warned him I would complain and he did it anyway, I say. He touched me knowing I'd be upset because you told him I am uptight. My voice climbs and I do not try to pull it down this time. He is not teasing when his hand is on my leg under a table. He sits forward, elbows on his knees, eyes narrowing at me. Why are you talking to him like he's some predator, he asks. You're acting like he cornered you in a dark alley. The way he exaggerates on purpose makes me feel smaller. I throw my hands out, pacing a short line behind the couch. He texted that you don't care where he puts his hands, I say. That is not brotherly joking, that is him using your silence. My fingers curl into fists and I can hear my own pulse hammering. He leans back again and gives me a long flat stare. This is exactly what I meant when I said dramatic, he answers. You blow up and twist everything, then everyone has to tiptoe. The fact that he sounds bored while saying that almost breaks me. Read the messages again, I insist, shoving the phone back toward him. Forget me, just pretend it's some random woman he knows. He looks at the screen for maybe 3 seconds and then looks away. I see my brother being sarcastic and you falling for it, he says. My chest feels tight like there is a strap around it. What if he does this when I'm alone with him, I ask quietly. What if he pushes further next time because you told him it's fine? There it is, the fear I keep swallowing laid out between us. His jaw works and he shakes his head once sharp. He's not going to do anything crazy, he answers, voice hard now. You're insulting him and you're insulting me at the same time. Somehow I am the one being accused while his brother stays untouched. He stands up suddenly and looms over me a little. Do not text my family like that again without telling me, he warns. You made it sound like he assaulted you or something. That word hangs there and my skin crawls because that is not far off. I told him not to touch me, I say, holding my ground. If that offends you, maybe that's a problem you should look at. My hands are shaking but my voice comes out clear for once. Anger finally edges out embarrassment and it feels strangely steady. He scoffs and grabs his controller again, ending the talk on purpose. I'm done with this for tonight, he announces as he sits back down. If you keep hammering it, I'm going to sleep on the couch. The threat of distance lands, even though distance already sits between us. I stare at the side of his face and realize something important. I cannot rely on him to tell me when something is dangerous. His line is so far past mine that we are not even on the same map. If I ignore that, I am choosing his comfort over my own safety. I back out of the room without another word and shut the bedroom door. My hands go straight to my phone again like it is a lifeline. I open the messages and scroll slowly from top to bottom. Every line feels worse now that I know he read them and shrugged. I take more screenshots and double-check the hidden album. I rename it with something plain that he would never open on purpose. My reflection stares back at me in the black screen for a second. I look frightened, but under that there is something tougher growing. I plug the phone in and watch the charging icon flicker once. On impulse, I email the images to a fresh address I just created. No subject line, no text, just files going out to somewhere only I know. Backup for my backup because I finally believe myself over both of them. Out in the living room, the game noise rises again like nothing happened. Laughter bursts through the wall and seeps under the door in waves. They are living in a comedy, I am living in a suspense movie. That night, the first thing I protect is not my marriage, it is my receipts. His chest lands against my back while I rinse a plate. My whole body jerks forward, and the edge of the counter digs in. His breath hits the side of my neck before I even process the weight. My hands stay in the water because I do not know where else to put them. Easy, his voice is right at my ear, low and casual. One arm comes around my middle like he owns the space. His palm settles across my stomach and starts to travel upward. Every muscle in me locks before his fingers climb any higher. Move, the word comes out sharp as I shove his arm away. I twist sideways and break the contact, water dripping off my hands. He laughs under his breath like I bumped him during a game. He does not look embarrassed at all, just amused and steady. Calm down, he leans one hip against the counter beside me. You act like I'm dangerous or something, his eyes scan my face. You know my brother is fine with us messing around. That sentence hits harder than his chest ever could. I grab a toe. Ellen rub my hands fast just to do something. You don't touch me like that, I tell him, voice rough. I already told you that in writing, knock it off. My heart is pounding and I hate that my legs feel weak. He tilts his head like I am overreacting to a prank at work. You text like a lawyer, his smile stretches slow and confident. In person you shake and keep standing close though. He steps forward one more inch just to prove his point. I step back and my shoulders hit the pantry door with a thud. The sound makes him grin wider, like he cornered me in a joke. Come on, his hand lands on the door near my shoulder. We're family, you really think I'm trying to hurt you? Yes, I surprise both of us with that answer. The word flies out fast before I can soften it. His smile falters for barely a second and then recovers. You don't mean that, he says, searching my eyes for doubt. I do, my throat burns but I do not drop my gaze. You keep pushing after I tell you to stop. I shove his arm off the door and slide sideways under it. The escape feels clumsy, but it gets me out of reach. Footsteps pass the kitchen doorway and he straightens at once. He tosses a dish towel onto the counter and raises his voice. You need help with anything else, he calls toward the hall. Anyone listening would think we were talking about food. I wipe my palms on my jeans and feel heat crawl up my neck. I know exactly how this would look if someone walked in. He would seem helpful and relaxed and I would look jumpy. I hate how easily he can flip the scene in his favor. When the footsteps fade, he drops his tone again. You're going to make things awkward if you keep this up. My brother gets weird when he thinks people are accusing me. That comes out like a warning more than a concern. So stop putting your hands on me, I answer, jaw set. Then no one has to feel accused of anything. I do not give him time to reply before I move. I walk out of the kitchen with my heart banging in my ears. The living room is full of noise and normal conversation. My husband laughs at something on the screen and looks relaxed. I step right in front of him and block his view. We need to talk in private now, my voice cuts through everything. A couple of relatives glance over and then look away fast. He frowns, annoyed at being dragged away in front of everyone. Can this wait, he asks, hand hovering near the remote. It already waited too long, I answer, not backing off. He swears under his breath and pushes up from the chair. 2 minutes, he mutters to the room as he passes me. I follow him down the hall toward the guest room. My hands tremble and I curl them into fists at my sides. As soon as the door closes, I start talking. He just pushed himself against me in the kitchen. I keep my voice even and stack the facts in order. Arm around me, hand moving up, blocking the doorway. My husband stares at me for a beat, expression tight. Are you serious right now? He asks, eyebrows pinched together. He bumped into you, that's it, the house is crowded. He waves one hand like that explains everything I just described. I shake my head and feel frustration spike hot and sharp. That wasn't a bump, I insist, stepping closer so he listens. He pinned me between him and the counter and grabbed me. He used your name while he did it, like it was already approved. His mouth pulls into a thin line and he exhales hard. I told you not to text him like that, he says. Now every time he even goes near you, you freak out. The word freak lands heavy, like a label I cannot peel off. This is not about the messages, I push back, voice climbing. He knows I asked him to stop and he did more. He is using the fact that you defend him to keep going. My chest feels tight and my eyes sting, but I keep talking. He drags a hand through his hair and looks toward the door. You're reading into every touch, he answers, tone clipped. He jokes, you lock up, then I have to deal with fallout. Apparently the real problem here is his inconvenience. You don't have to deal with it, I snap, voice shaking. You could tell him to back off and we would be done. Instead you act like I'm inventing this for attention. There it is, the thing I did not want to say out loud. He laughs once, no humor in it, just disbelief. I know my brother, he says, eyes hard on mine. If he meant something, he wouldn't do it where everyone is home. That is not his style, he's not stupid. That answer makes my stomach lurch for a new reason. So as long as there are people around, anything goes, I ask. You'll only believe me if he drags me into an empty lot. My voice cracks on the last word and I clamp my jaw. You're twisting my words, he shoots back, shoulders tense. I'm telling you he is not actually trying to sleep with you. He flirts, that's who he is, you're acting like a victim. That last word hits like someone slammed a door in my face. I step back from him because I suddenly feel tired down to my bones. I'm a person telling you I feel unsafe, I say. You're choosing to be more loyal to his habits than to me. Hearing that out loud makes my chest hurt even more. He looks away first and stares at the wall for a second. Can you please not blow this up in front of everyone, he asks. My mom already thinks you don't like being part of the family. So now I am not just difficult, I am ungrateful too. I won't make a scene, I answer, voice quiet but firm. But I am not staying alone in rooms with him anymore. You can either back that boundary or watch what happens next. Even I am surprised by how cold that last line sounds. He stiffens and studies me like I just threatened a war. So what, you're going to accuse him to his face, he asks. You'll blow up the entire night over this kitchen thing. His focus is still on the evening, not my safety. I realize I am done trying to make him feel better. I will walk out if he corners me again, I say. You can explain that however you want to your family. My heart hammers, but the words feel solid under me. He rubs his forehead again and finally nods once. Fine, just stay near me and stop escalating it, he says. I'll keep an eye out, all right. It sounds like a promise and a complaint wrapped in one. I do not trust that promise at all, not anymore. Still, I nod because I am exhausted and we are not alone here. We head back toward the living room side by side but not together. I feel the distance between us as clearly as any doorway. When we walk past the kitchen, his brother is at the counter. He is laughing with someone, shoulders loose, posture easy. His gaze flicks over to us and lingers on my face. He smirks like we share some naughty secret instead of a threat. My husband stops near him and claps his shoulder lightly. Their eyes meet and something unspoken passes between them. I stand a few feet away and watch their mouths curve and sync. Whatever my husband promised me in that guest room is already fading. I slip into the bathroom and lock the door with shaking fingers. My reflection looks pale and wired and older than yesterday. I grip the sink until my knuckles ache and force myself to breathe. This is the moment I know I am not misreading anything anymore. His arm hooks around my waist and drags me against his side. 1 second I am sitting on the edge of the couch, the next I am compressed into him. The whole room is focused on the game, and I am the only one who stops breathing. His fingers settle low on my hip like they belong there, and my ribs lock. Sit still, you're squirmy, he laughs near my ear. The sound blends into everyone else's shouting and somehow still cuts through. He squeezes once, thumb pressing into my stomach like he is checking something. Across from us, my husband glances over, sees the contact and smirks. I grab his wrist and try to peel it off me. Stop, I grit out, not loud, not whisper, just raw. He only loosens his grip a little, like this is a joke we share. Chill, I'm not going to bite you, he murmurs as if that helps. My husband leans forward in his chair, eyes flicking between us. You two fighting over seat space, he calls out with a little grin. The room chuckles, and just like that, I am the uptight one again. I feel my face heat while the hand on my hip never really leaves. He shifts lower on the couch and takes me with him. His arm tightens across my middle, hauling me closer like I weigh nothing. Now I am half in his lap, thigh over his, back against his chest. The position looks couple-ish, there is no way to pretend it does not. Okay, no, I say much louder than I planned. I plant my feet and shove myself forward, breaking out of that hold. His hand slides over my stomach and brushes the front of my jeans. Every nerve in that area lights up like an alarm I cannot mute. Conversation stutters, not silent, but off rhythm for a second. My husband's sister looks up from her phone and freezes mid-scroll. Her eyes drop to where his arm is, then up to my face. Something sharp flashes there, and for once it is not aimed at me. Seriously, get your hands off me, I snap. This time the words boom over the sound from the TV. I am standing now, a couple feet away from the couch, breathing hard. His brother lifts both palms like he is performing for a crowd. Whoa, okay, relax, I was only hugging you, he says. He laughs toward the others, eyebrows raised like he needs witnesses. You leaned on me first, don't act like I tackled you. A few people smile awkwardly, unsure where to land. I look straight at my husband because this is his moment. He meets my eyes, then looks at his brother, then back at me. Can we not turn family night into a show, he says, voice light. He chuckles and gestures at the couch, like I am overreacting again. That laugh tells everyone how to file this away in their heads. He has decided it is banter, so banter is what they will see. I swallow hard and feel something in me tilt away from him. I move to the single chair near the doorway and sit alone. The game noise swells again, grateful to have its job back. His brother makes a few more jokes about me being feisty. Guess she doesn't like sharing cushions, he cracks, hand over his heart. People chuckle and the moment stretches into something embarrassing instead of frightening. Across the room my sister-in-law is still watching me. Her eyes track the way I keep my arms folded across my stomach. She notices I angle my knees away from the couch like it burns. She presses her lips together and goes quiet, which is not usual for her. I stare at the screen and register nothing that happens on it. Every time my husband laughs at a replay or a comment, I flinch inside. He is comfortable while I sit rigid in this corner chair. It hits me how often his good mood depends on me swallowing things. After a while people drift toward the kitchen for snacks. I wait until the room empties out a little, then stand up. My legs feel unsteady, like I got off a spinning ride too fast. I head to the kitchen because I need walls that are not watching me. I am stacking plates when she steps in beside me. You okay? She asks quietly, not the casual kind of question. I jump a little, then nod out of habit, then stop myself. No, not really, I admit, voice low. Her eyes soften and then sharpen in the same second. I saw his hand, she says, no hedging, no joking. That was not an innocent hug, no matter what he pretends. My throat tightens because finally someone else said it. He pulled me onto him, I whisper, fingers clenching a plate. I tried to move, he just gripped harder and kept smiling. Part of me still wants to tone it down, smooth the edges. The rest of me is exhausted from covering the same behavior. She sets the plate down like she might crush it if she keeps holding it. That was crossing a line, full stop, she says. He did it while your husband was right there too. She glances toward the living room where the voices drift in. Your brother thinks it's funny, I say, and my voice cracks. He told me again not to make a big deal out of it. I let out a short, bitter laugh that sounds nothing like me. I feel like I am yelling underwater and nobody hears it. She studies my face, then speaks even softer. Has he done other stuff like that when people are not looking? She asks. I hesitate because this is where everything stops being manageable. If I answer honestly, we are not going back to normal. Under the table last time, I breathe out, staring at the sink. Messages after calling me tense, saying my husband doesn't mind. The words tumble out and I hear how ugly they sound out loud. I brace myself for her to say I misunderstood or overreacted. She does not do that. Instead, her jaw locks and her eyes flash anger, not at me. He actually wrote your husband doesn't mind, she repeats. That's disgusting and incredibly stupid for him. I blink at that last part and my mind catches on it. Stupid how? I ask, wiping my palms on a dish towel. She glances toward the doorway, making sure it is clear. Then she leans in just enough that I feel my pulse jump. The living room camera faces that couch, she says. Her voice is calm, but there is something electric under it. It auto-saves clips anytime there's motion in that zone. I stare at her, trying to process what that means. You're saying there is video of what he just did? I ask. I hear the shake in my own sentence and hate that he put it there. She nods once slow, like she is placing a piece in a puzzle. If the system picked it up, yeah, there should be, she replies. Relief and panic crash into each other inside my chest. Part of me wants that footage more than anything. Another part is already imagining the fallout if it exists. If there is proof, nobody gets to pretend it was all in my head. He will say it looks playful, I mutter, already anticipating the spin. He will claim I tripped or leaned on him or something. She shakes her head, eyes steady on mine. Even playful has limits. That did not look playful, she answers. Voices grow louder down the hall and we both straighten. My husband walks in, grabbing a drink, eyes bouncing between us. What are you two whispering about? He asks with a quick smile. He is trying to keep it light and my stomach knots. Food, she answers easily, reaching for a drawer. As usual, I'm obsessing over leftovers, she jokes, rolling her eyes. He chuckles and looks at me like he expects me to play along. I hold his gaze for a beat and say nothing, which wipes the grin a little. You good? He asks, tone dipping just enough to warn me. Fine, I answer short because I am done performing calm. He studies me, then glances at Hi. S sister, then shrugs and leaves. As soon as he is gone, we both exhale at the same time. She lowers her voice again once the hallway is quiet. Listen, if you want, we can check the clip later, she says. Not tonight, come by when they're at work or something. She is offering me more than video, she is offering backup. I grip the counter because my legs suddenly feel light. You would actually do that? I ask, needing to hear her confirm it. She nods, jaw firm, eyes brighter now, like a decision clicked. I'm not going to pretend I didn't see what I saw, she answers. My phone buzzes on the counter and makes me jump. I peek at the screen and see my husband's name. A short text flashes, "You okay? You seemed mad." The distance between that message and reality makes me feel dizzy. I don't want to blow up your family, I mutter. I just want him to stop using me as a prop. The word prop slips out and my eyes sting. She hears it and her shoulders tense even more. You are not the one wrecking anything, she says. He is gambling with his marriage and your marriage at once. She taps the counter, thinking fast, then looks back at me. Let me handle the tech, you just decide how much you can take. From the other room, someone yells at the television again. Her husband calls out for her, asking where the snacks are. She raises her voice, coming, then drops it again for me. I'll text you tomorrow with a time, would that work? She asks. Yeah, I whisper, nodding before my courage disappears. Tomorrow suddenly feels like this huge checkpoint on a calendar. Don't tell him yet, I add, meaning my husband. I need to see it before I try to survive that conversation. She hesitates, then gives one slow agreeing nod. I won't blindside you, she says. But if that video is bad, I am not covering his ass. Her words hit me with equal parts dread and gratitude. We step back into the living room like nothing happened. His brother throws me a cocky grin from his spot on the couch. He pats the cushion next to him like he expects me to sit there again. I stay on the far chair and watch the flash of annoyance cross his face. My husband notices the distance and the tension between us. He frowns, then pastes a smile over it and tosses a joke at the room. Everyone laughs, grateful to stay on the surface of things. Underneath, three of us know something ugly just crossed a line. Much later, after goodbyes and door clicks and forced hugs, I get home. He strips off his jacket, throws his keys down and turns on me. You embarrassed him tonight, he says, voice low and angry. You made it look like he assaulted you in front of everyone. I lean against the dresser because the room feels tilted. He pulled me onto him and grabbed me, I answer. I pushed him off and told him to stop, that is all that happened. I hear how simple it sounds and how huge it felt. He was kidding, my husband insists, hands cutting through the air. You snapped at him like he was some creep from the news. That's my brother, you can't talk to him like that. The way he protects him burns more than anything else does. You watched him hang on me, I say, voice breaking. You watched me fight to get away and you laughed. I am telling you, I did not want his hands on me. Every sentence feels like banging on a locked door. He drags a hand down his face and groans. I already told you he doesn't mean anything by it, he says. You keep pushing this, you're going to tear everything apart. That line finally makes something in me go very still. Maybe it already is apart, I answer quietly. Tomorrow I'm going to see exactly what that looked like. He freezes, eyes narrowing. What do you mean, he asks. I stop myself just in time from mentioning the camera. Nothing, I lie, seeing how fast he went on guard. I just mean I remember it clearly and I'm not letting it slide. He studies me like I am suddenly dangerous in a new way. I'm done talking about this, he says and walks out of the room. When the house is finally quiet, my phone buzzes again. A new message from my sister-in-law pops up on the lock screen. Can you swing by tomorrow afternoon? I'll make an excuse. My fingers hover a second, then type back one word. Yes. I set the phone down and lie there staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow I either confirm my own memory, or I watch myself be rewritten. Either way, once I see that clip, I will not be able to pretend anymore. And honestly, I think a part of me has been waiting for that point of no return. My finger hits the doorbell and I almost pull it back. For half a second I want to run to my car and bail. Then I hear footsteps and the latch click and it is too late. She opens the door and gives me this tight, determined look. You ready? She asks, stepping aside so I can come in. I nod, though my throat feels dry and my palms feel slick. I told them I needed to check something. G with the system, she adds. They're out grabbing lunch, we've got the house. She walks fast down the hall and I keep up without talking. We end up in a small room with a desk and a monitor. Her hands move quick over the mouse and keyboard like she has done this often. I stand behind her chair and stare at the screen like it is a judge. She pulls up a grid with dates and times and little motion bars. Here, she points at the day of the game and clicks the evening block. A list of clips appears, lines of numbers marching down the screen. My chest thuds harder as she scrolls, slowing near the middle. There, she taps one entry, that should be around when it happened. She opens it and the living room pops into view from above. The angle is slightly high, covering the couch, the chair, the doorway. I see myself already sitting on the edge of the cushions. Sound on or off, she asks, fingers hovering near an icon. On, I answer, faster than I expect because I want everything. She clicks and the faint noise of that night fills the room. I hear the game, random comments, my own laugh from earlier. We watch me on the screen like I am a stranger. He drops down beside me, easy, casual, arm behind the cushions. My husband is across the room, half turned toward the television. Nobody looks tense yet, at least not the men. Then it happens in front of our faces without warning. He hooks his arm around my waist and yanks me against him. My body on the screen jerks, hands reaching down to push off. He drags me lower into his lap while his grip slides across my front. Even though it is video, I feel that grip all over again. I hear myself say okay, no louder than background chatter. I watch my body shove away and see his hand skim my jeans. On the couch, his fingers linger low before he lifts them. Her breath catches and she leans closer to the monitor. Back it up, she mutters, tapping the desk with tense fingers. I rewind a few seconds and we watch the pull again in slow speed. There is no way to misread it as an accident, not at that angle. We let it play in normal speed again with sound full volume. Seriously, get your hands off me, my voice cuts through the room. It is clear, sharp, not flirty at all, not teasing. He laughs on the recording and throws his palms up like Mr. Innocent. The camera shows my husband look over, see the whole thing. His mouth curves, a quick little grin, then he shrugs and looks away. He does not flinch, he does not step in, he just smirks. Watching that part hurts almost worse than the grab itself. I do not realize I am shaking until my hand hits the back of her chair. Again, I whisper because my brain wants to be absolutely sure. She replays the last 20 seconds and I grip the chair harder. My own voice telling him to stop sounds even stronger the second time. That is not a joke, she says, eyes still on the screen. He pulls you onto him, and he ignores you pushing away. She sits back and exhales like someone who got punched. We are not pretending this is nothing. I swallow and feel this weird mix of vindication and nausea. All those moments where I doubted myself start rearranging inside me. I thought maybe I exaggerated it in my head, I admit quietly. I did not, that is exactly how it felt, maybe worse. She glances up at me, expression fierce, almost protective. He is going to lose it when he finds out we pulled this, she says. Which is exactly why I am glad we did. Then she clicks another button and brings up export options. Can you save it? I ask, leaning in closer to see. She nods and plugs in a small drive with quick movements. We'll put it here, she says, and I'm keeping a copy on the system. The progress bar crawls while my heart races faster than the timer. My hands are still trembling, so I do the only thing I trust. I grab my phone and hit record on the screen. I film the clip straight off the monitor, every second, every sound. Grainy or not, it is mine and nobody can erase it from my pocket. When it is done, I step back and lock my phone out of habit. It feels heavier now, like it is carrying a whole different life. She ejects the drive and drops it into a small drawer. Backup of the backup, she says with a quick nod. A car door slams outside and we both go rigid. She checks the window and peeks through the edge of the curtain. That's him, she says, meaning her husband, not the other one. Good, I want one more person to see before this blows up. He walks in a minute later, calling out from the hallway. In here, she answers, and her tone makes him appear fast. He steps into the office, sees my face, then sees the screen. What's going on? He asks, confusion already folding into concern. She hits play without explaining first. We stand there while he watches the same scene we did. On the clip, I get dragged into the couch and shoved against his brother. In the room, his eyes wide. And in his mouth goes hard. What the hell, he breathes when it ends. He looks at me, then at his wife, then back at the image frozen on screen. That is not a joke, that is not even close to a joke. Hearing him say it out loud makes my knees feel weak. He has been touching her for weeks, she tells him, voice tight. Under tables in the kitchen on that couch. She flicks a glance at me to make sure I am okay sharing that much. I nod once because at this point hiding helps no one. Her husband runs a hand over his face, then points at the monitor. My parents need to see this, he says. And your husband too, no more stories, no more gaslighting. I flinch a little at that word because it names what I have felt. I do not want to be in the same room with him again, I say. The idea of sitting through some fake calm talk makes my skin crawl. I will show this to my husband, but I am done smiling through it. My voice sounds strange even to me, steadier than I feel. He nods, then checks his watch with a quick glance. They are all coming over for dinner tonight anyway, he says. We can play this on the TV and no one can spin it. My stomach flips, but I know he is right. Do you want that? She asks, turning back to me. You do not have to stay if you cannot handle it. I think for a second about walking away with just my copy. Then I picture my husband insisting it looked different in person. I will stay until it plays, I answer. After that, I don't know, but I want to hear what they say. It comes out like a promise to myself more than to them. She squeezes my arm once, quick and firm like a little anchor. The hours before dinner feel like a countdown inside my chest. I help chop and stir because standing still makes me shake. Every car door outside makes me jump and wipe my hands again. By the time I hear my husband's voice, my heartbeat is in my throat. He walks in smiling like any other family night. He kisses my cheek lightly and asks if we are okay now. I pull back enough that he has to look at my face. We're going to watch something first, I tell him, steady. What? He asks, a crease forming between his brows. You will see, her husband answers from the doorway. He holds up a remote and nods toward the living room. Let's get everyone in there for a minute. People shuffle in, carrying drinks, still chatting. His brother drops onto the couch like he owns it. He pats the cushion next to him in my direction again. I stay near the wall and feel his eyes flick over me, confused. Her husband clears his throat and the volume eases. I need you all to watch this clip from last week, he says. Don't talk until it ends, just look. He presses play before anyone can ask why. The room fills with the sound of the game and scattered voices. Then the pulling starts on screen and everything goes quiet. We all watch couch him grab couch me and haul me onto him. We hear my voice ring out clear, telling him to get off. I do not look at the TV this time, I watch their faces. His parents blink, lean forward, eyes narrowing on the scene. My husband stares at the whole thing with his jaw clenched. His brother's grin fades inch by inch until the screen shows my shove. When the clip ends, silence hangs heavy for a long second. His mom is the first one to break it with a sharp inhale. "You pulled her onto you after she said no," she says. Her voice shakes, not from confusion, from anger. His brother lifts his hands, eyes darting around the room. "It was a joke," he says quickly. "She went along at first, then she flipped out to embarrass me." He glances at my husband like he expects backup. All eyes swing to my husband because this is his cue. He opens his mouth, then closes it, then glances at me. "I already told her you mess around," he says slowly. "But seeing it like this, it does not look good." "Does not look good," I repeat, staring at him. "That is the best you can do after weeks of this." My voice rises and I do not pull it back this time. "You watched that happen live and laughed." His dad shifts in his chair and looks at me directly. "Is this the first time he has done something like that?" he asks. Every muscle in my body wants to fold, but I stand straight. "No, it is just the first time you all saw it." Her husband cuts in before anyone can talk over me. "He has been texting her that you do not care," he tells my husband. "And that she is dramatic for not liking his hands on her." He looks disgusted even saying the words. I pull my phone out and open the hidden album with shaking fingers. I swipe to one screenshot and hold it up so my husband can read. "Your brother said your husband doesn't care," right there, I say. "He used your opinion as cover for this." My husband stares at the screen, face drained. "That is not what I meant when I said you overthink," he mutters. "No, but that is what he heard," I answer sharp. And he turned. Edit into permission while you laughed from the sidelines. His brother stands up fast, frustration finally cracking through. "You're all making me into a predator over a stupid hug," he snaps. He points at me like I am the one on trial. "She sat next to me, she didn't move until the end." I bark out a harsh little laugh that hurts my throat. "You had your hand on my leg under that same table," I throw back. "You blocked me in the kitchen," you whispered in my ear. My voice shakes but the words land anyway. His mother presses her hand to her mouth for a second. "You did that?" she asks him, disbelief mixing with shame. He shrugs, digging himself deeper instead of stopping. I tease, "Everyone knows that," she is blowing it up. Her husband looks done with the entire performance. "You can flirt with strangers if that is your thing," he says. "You do not use our living room as a playground with my sister-in-law." That line lands heavy and final, even before my words. I realize nothing good for me will happen if I stay longer. The proof exists now and they all saw it with their own eyes. What happens next is their work, not mine, and I am done babysitting it. I turn to my husband because that is the only goodbye that matters. "I am leaving tonight," I tell him, voice calm, almost eerie. "I will send you the video and the messages I saved. You can choose whether you want a lawyer to read them or not." His eyes widen like this is the part he did not see coming. "You're ending our marriage over that clip?" he asks, stunned. "That clip and everything around it," I answer. "You picked your brother every single time, I believe you now." I pause, feeling the weight of that next sentence. "I also finally believe myself," I add. "For weeks you made me feel crazy for not wanting his hands on me. I am not doing that again while you decide if this is bad enough." I feel strangely lighter even as my chest aches. He reaches out like he might grab my wrist and stop me. I step back before he can, leaving air between us. "If you want to talk, call my friend's place," I say. "But do not show up there unless I agree to it." I walk to the door while the room buzzes behind me. Raised voices start to blend together, my name, his name, questions. His mother calls after me once but she does not follow. My sister-in-law meets me in the hall with my bag in her hand. "I packed this while you were all arguing," she says softly. "There is a spare room if you want it for tonight." I shake my head because I already know where I am going. If I stay here, it keeps me in their orbit, I answer. She nods, eyes shiny, and pulls me into a brief fierce hug. I have the footage, she whispers near my ear. If anyone tries to rewrite this, I will send it to whoever you need. Her grip steadies me more than she probably realizes. I drive to my friend's apartment with my phone buzzing nonstop. Messages stack up from my husband, short and frantic, then angry. I ignore all of them until I am sitting on a borrowed bed. Only then do I open the Notes app and start typing. Hi, this is probably going to be long, I write. My brother-in-law will not stop putting his hands on me. My husband encourages it, and now I have video of the worst part. The words come out rough and spill faster than I can tidy them. I lay it out for strangers the way I have not been allowed to at home. I describe the hip grab, the texts, the couch, the clip on the TV. I mention the screenshots and how my husband laughed until he saw proof. Then I ask the question that has been burning a hole in me. Am I wrong for walking away from this marriage now? I type. Would you stay and keep trying after seeing that video? My thumb hovers, then I hit post and set the phone down. Whatever the internet says, I already crossed my own line tonight.